All right, guys. A question for you. Who do you reckon is the best band in Sydney at the moment?
Next question.
Hello and welcome to West Underground. Today we have none other than Start Your Own Cult. They're here. They're with us. I think it may be only half the band, but nonetheless, they are here. So just starting off the back, guys, who are you? And, what's the backstory behind the band or the origins?
Cool. So we are Start Your Own Cults. My name is Sarah. I'm the lead singer of the band. We've got half the band here today. So sadly, we're missing Josh and Evan. So Josh is the guitarist and Evan is the drummer.
Yes,
and we've got Alex. Alex here as well. Alex, do you wanna speak a little on the band?
Yeah. So what we met like 3 years ago or something. I remember we were doing like some production stuff. I put out a Facebook ad. No shit. I put out a Facebook ad saying, looking for singer who's into like Purity Ring and Crystal Castles and shit like that. And she like just rocks up at my door, this little Canadian. She's like, hi, how's it going? I'm like, all right, cool. We started making some stuff. And then she was like, so I'm trying to start a band. Do you like know any guitarists? And I was like, well, I might run a guitar school, so I can help you out with that. And then we met the other two guys. Well, no, we met Evan and went through a series of separate guitarists. And then Josh came in the fold. And yeah, that's pretty much how it happened, really.
Nice. So how many guitar players did you have to go through before we got the right one?
It would have been a strong 7.
7?
No, it was like 2.
No.
I was going to say, wow.
The best part is we actually started with our one guitarist and he just kind of became uninterested in guitar altogether. So then he's like, I think I'm going to take a step away from music. And so that was fine. We ended up getting another guy in, which was this like Gladys house party that Alex was hosting. And that ended up getting canned like the day before. They're like, if you throw this party, you are going to be fined out the ass. So
it was like a protest thing. Yeah.
We ended up going to the pub instead and got wildly drunk. So we're like, so he stepped back because he was coming from Wollongong for every practice and whatnot. He was awesome, but we kind of had to find someone who was committed to the band. So we put up a bunch of audition things and we had interviews and whatnot.
Yeah. Imagine us with papers going like, so what do you feel like you can bring to this band as a unit?
But it's kind of terrifying, like our interview process. And we ended up picking Josh. He was incredible from the start. This guy showed up and was like, learned all the 5 songs that we sent him. To like pick one of the songs, like learn it, we'll have a jam. And he's like, yeah, so I learned all 5 of the songs. And also, do you mind if I play something that I wrote over this? And I'm just like, oh, why, yes, you can play whatever you want, sir. So we chose him. And he's thinking that we're full on like professionals, like to the T, timely and everything. And then now he knows us and we're just a bunch of like loose units and just like
absolute degenerate.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be about half an hour late because I'm drunk, but that's okay. We have fun.
But in that interviewing process, were you kind of putting on the act of like, oh yes, we're professionals, or did?
Well, look, I mean, in a sense, we really knew what we were going for in a guitarist, and we had been through 2 guitarists previously who'd been friends of the band, and we'd gone through that and been like, well, okay, look, maybe it's not the best idea to do someone who we already sort of know. Maybe we just go, oh, look, let's find someone who's really committed, and we can just put out exactly what we want and make sure there's going to be no compromises, and just make sure that we were finding the best fit for what was. And Josh was exactly what that was. He's just an absolute shred god, and he can just play anything you want. Like he'll just write down a bunch of notes, and like before you finish writing, he'll be like, okay, I can play it. So
I remember him leaving that audition, and Evan like walked him out, and he's just like, "Man, I don't want to psych you up, but you definitely got it." Like he was so good, but it's like, yeah, we'll let we'll let you know. And then there's
we're like,
Evan
we'll
being
be
like,
in contact.
you got this, man. Cheering for him. But no, we're so happy to have him. He's been such a great addition to our little family. So yeah.
Nice. Is this his first band, or has he been in a couple different bands?
Nah, he started in another band.
Yeah.
And when he kind of came out to audition to us, he had been in a band where he felt that he was very much carrying it and he wasn't really getting much out of it. And he was pretty excited about how headstrong we were and had an idea of what we wanted to do, and not just like, let's make some demos and put it out. So yeah, he was excited to be a part of something that wanted to go big and not just be a hobby.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. But that's cool that he's found his, like, you know, like that he found you guys and you guys found him, vice versa.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, did you guys go out and do the whole cover thing, or did you guys have a bunch of songs written from the start?
That's we sort of I don't think we did covers at the beginning. At the beginning we were just writing songs, and there was a 2-guitar deal. So I mean, at first it was, when it was Josh was in the fold there, before we sort of did a rebrand, because we were actually named another band before then, and then we sort of rebranded. By that time we had written like a couple of songs. I think once we got him in, we started sort of adding some covers into it, but really, we were all just contributing to it. And he was like, just from the get-go, was just putting things in, and I was writing stuff and Sarah was writing stuff. And Evan was obviously, laying down grooves over that.
So I think how this originally kind of kicked off was our first show. I had, before I came to Australia, I'd written a solo EP.
Yeah.
And once I got that back, I'm like, well, I'm here. Like I literally recorded this EP like 2 days before I'd hopped on a flight and moved across the world. And so I got, and I never really, I'd always done music. I'd always been in like different bands and done the solo, had a duet with my sister, kind of built a band from that. And the EP was called Red Wine, mainly because when I was writing those songs, I was drinking a lot of red wine at the time. And on the cover of it, it has a little bow, and people are like, what's the bow about? I'm like, well, it's kind of my gift to all the people that have followed me throughout my musical career in Canada, because I'd never actually put out an album. I'd put out like a song here and there. I just do YouTube stuff. So I never really thought that it would go anywhere. And it was just a great little resume, really, just to kind of hand around. So when I met Alex, I sent him my EP. When I met Evan, I sent him my EP. And I didn't actually think that I'd put it out. And I was like, why wouldn't I? Yeah. So we did this EP release show. And then, so we were playing those kind of 5 songs that were on the album. And then we went on to writing more stuff for Dirty Spells. And then when Josh joined the band, we didn't necessarily love the name Dirty Spells. And we just felt the songs that we had written for that project were a little juvenile. And they weren't necessarily what we wanted to play in the music that we love. I think we can all agree now, the stuff that we're putting out, it's like, it is stuff that I would so happily be like, listen to my song. This is amazing. I love this. Like, I would vouch for this until the day I die. And like, I don't think we necessarily felt that about the Dirty Spell stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of came off of my solo stuff. And then we like to, because we are a new band, people will come to a show that we don't know, and we could sit there and play all of the songs off of like that we've written. And that person that's never seen us before could be like, yeah, they're cool, but I don't really remember anything. But then, we play a cover of Toxic, and they're like, this band is sick. Like, like they're like, I'm going to follow them. And it's just that little like ear candy that like gets people interested and then on your back.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've never focused on being a cover band. We never will.
Yeah. The only reason why I was curious though, because I remember seeing you, Sarah, like play years ago, like at I think at the Peterson Bowling Club, maybe. Like when you were, when you were studying, and then then time has disappeared, and then I kind of just saw your band releasing songs, and that's when you've kind of popped up again.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if there was like an evolution period where you did do the cover thing, or did you take some of your own stuff and adapt it into this? I was just kind of curious to how you got the band started.
So my primary like job and income is a cover musician. Like I am a professional musician as my job, and a lot of that, especially in Sydney, the stuff that pays is cover gigs, especially while you're trying to build a band and a brand. So I do my 3, 4, 5, 7 gigs in a week. But that Petersham show that you would have seen me at, that was my first day at TAFE. So I'd been here on a working holiday visa. I came back on my student visa. So I'd originally signed up for Cert 3 music performance at TAFE.
Yeah.
I went in and I didn't know what TAFE was. Like I went in, this is like the first thing that I could apply for because I didn't have any musical background in study. So met the teachers, and then I was showing them my stuff, and they're like, come meet us in the office. So I went to the office and I played a song for them. And one of the teachers was like, what are you doing tonight? And she asked me, Kelly had asked me to open up for her band's show, Big Sky Mountain.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, cool. So that was like my first official show in Sydney that you would have seen me at. And then I've just kind of built from there. And it's like, I want to make money doing music. It's like I could work at a cafe. A lot of people are like, oh, aren't you selling out by doing covers? But at the end of the day, for me, it's paid practice. I love to sing. I love to play. And it just gives me more time on the stage, on a microphone, in front of people, getting comfortable, learning new songs, learning new things, and then collecting gear.
Yeah, for sure.
Collecting a lot of gear.
Yeah, you got the mass gear acquisition syndrome. She'll just rock up and be like, "Oh my god, look at this new mix of the board," and I'm like, "Where does that go?" She's like, "I don't know, but I love it. It's so cool."
Do I need a really good DJ set? No. Do I have one? Absolutely.
No, she's a decent DJ. You can DJ. I've heard her DJ. It's good.
Oh yeah. So that's where the cover stuff is purely my own job.
Yeah.
But what we as Start Your Own Cult are promoting is purely original stuff. We've gotten inquiries for, hey, like, is Start Your Own Cult available to play a 3-hour gig at this is the rate, and I'm just like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like 5 songs like 6 times if you want, you know.
Yeah, replay. But no, covers just not. We love doing covers, and we love doing kind of different versions of covers in our set, but not primarily, no.
I mean, I'd say with covers, I look at covers as kind of a way to like give back to. I'm trying to think of how to say it. It's kind of a way to put your own spin on the history that's gone before you, because it's like shoulders of giants, you know, like you start out as a band and you have your influences and stuff. And when you get to do something like a cover, like say Toxic is the classic one that we've done, that people are like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. It's just a really cool way to be able to like, hey, you know this song, here's how we do this.
Yeah.
And then you get the best of both worlds of that, like, oh, this is really weird and I haven't heard it before, but also I know it. So it's a nice kind of melding those two worlds. So I love covers. I hope we do covers forever.
Yeah, and man, I completely agree. Like they kind of get people to turn their head sometimes, like especially when people do them like really well. You know,
I've been to so many music festivals where I'll hear a song and it's like, I listen to so much music all the time, and a lot of times I have no idea who the artist is, but then a song comes on, I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, who is this? It's like, that's their song. I'm like, yeah.
This guy, right?
Oh my god. Yeah. I think covers are a great way of just expressing and shit. Like I did I don't know if you guys have seen, but me and Voya from Bad Man Born, we did a Punk Goes Pop cover of Stay by Justin Bieber and Kid Laroi. And it was a catchy song to begin with. Yeah. And I would be lying if I didn't say that it was my favorite version of the cover. Like, I think he is such a gun of a producer. He just did such a good job with the song and the production of our cover in specific. And I'm like, I cannot stop listening to it, that it makes me sick. And I do this thing that when I record something, I will listen to it a million times. So by the time that it comes out, I'm so sick of it, but I'm like, I still need to listen to it.
That's so true. We'll be in her car and we'll have just finished a session of producing something, and we'll get out of it and be listening to it literally all day. And she'll be like, let's put it on the see what it sounds like in the car. And I'll be like, okay.
and then it finishes and we're like, again?
The music sounds better in the best in the car, I reckon. Like, does anyone disagree? Like, I do that personally. Like,
so I think yes, in the car if it is mixed well. I've got a pair of these. What are these? Bose wireless headphones, and if I'm listening to a song or a mix, I turn them right up until I'm probably gonna be deaf. And I just lay there and I feel my ears, and I just, where everything goes, like these headphones. And I'm not even like, I didn't even buy these. I got these for free. But like, they are probably some of the best headphones that I've listened to music on. Because you really just understand the balance of the track in them. And you can pick up every single little thing, which you normally get from listening to like a studio speaker or like car speakers, because it's just that big front sound, and then it comes from the back and you're like, ah. But yeah, I like headphones on loud. I can't. I love it.
You got a nuance from them, I reckon, that you don't hear from like Bose. You hear everything.
Yeah.
All in there. Yeah, that's so good. I use KRKs when I'm producing, but even those speakers, like, you just get a nice set of really equalized headphones. It's like, that's everything.
So their headphones are good, because I was looking at the other day about getting a new pair of headphones, because I've got a couple different ones, but I've got their speakers. Like that's what I'm running at the moment. I was wondering, what are their headphones like? And I can't go try them anywhere. So I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend those. If you're looking for wireless.
Yeah.
Are you looking for wireless?
Yeah.
Do the Bose, man. They're so good.
All right.
They're just shiny. They're so good.
Yeah, get the noise canceling too, just for like maximum.
Yes. Okay, these are the noise canceling. Right. And I love walking around like the gym or anywhere with them, the grocery store, because people are like, hi. And I'm like, sorry, I can't hear you, nor do I want
to. Nice. Do you get the warning like on your iPhone occasionally that you're like listening to music too loud? Like recently I've been going for walks and my iPhone's like, you're listening to music at a high level, you're going to lose hearing it. I'm like,
oh, I don't know about that, but like if you go into your health app, it'll like literally say to you that like your here, let me go into my health app now. Headphone notification. Oh wait, no. But it tells you that you're listening to music at like too loud of a thing on your headphones. And then it also tells you your screen time, which makes you very depressed. You're like, I don't think I spent 9 hours on my phone a day. I feel like you hear your phone.
Every week of this lockdown, I feel like it goes like it's been messaging me going, your screen time has increased 10%.
Eyes are about to fall out of your head.
And then you're just like, oh wow, my screen time is down 13 minutes from last week. I deserve a drink.
Just on the topic of lockdown, I noticed you guys have like a lot of delays because you guys are playing with Fangs and Clay Glaston at the Lansdowne and all that. Does that like interrupt your plans for the future for the delays happening as well?
Look, it's sort of a funny thing because we're still working out, because obviously everyone loves to play shows, right? We love to play shows. But we're in a stage of our career where we're not even sure what the impact of playing live a lot is, because we haven't even really had a chance to do it very much. Like we've played, I think, 3 sold out shows now, which is great. We're really happy with that, but it's hard to gauge the impact of that. I'm tempted to think it's massive. And we have found that there's been a little bit less engagement for the latest track. I think it's really good. But we've been hearing that across the board for a lot of artists. Just people are got a bit of lockdown exhaustion, and they're kind of like, oh, look, it's just hard to get people motivated for these new tracks. So yeah, it's definitely not stopped us recording and doing new stuff, because we've been working on a new track that's just like, it's fire. I'm really, really happy with it. But yeah, certainly it's derailed. You know, it'd be great just to hang out with the Fangs guys and you know, get a bit of experience doing it with them. And So as well. We were gonna, you know, I think they're at the Lansdowne. So yeah, it's a bummer. So yeah, short answer, yes, but we're trying to let it stop us as little as possible. We're still kind of working towards it.
We've been very good on planning. We've been very good on being productive. Like Alex said, we do feel like the last track we put out, Dead Drugs, is by far my favorite song. And it's gotten by far the least traction than any of the other two songs, and I think it's our best. We had a release show that we had planned with a couple of really, really amazing bands that we'd been planning for months. Like, we were putting it on at a venue that was unlicensed. So we were working with booze brands to get like a permit to be able to put this show ahead to the best of our ability and have something different that we haven't had in Sydney before. Like, we love Frankie's. We love like all the venues in Sydney, but we're like, we have done 3 sold out shows in multiple venues in Sydney. We want to do something new and different for this release. So to have all that just shut down right away. And it's like the day that we went into lockdown, we were supposed to be playing with So at the Lady Hampshire. So it's like one after another, and we're like, surely we'll get out of this. We had a music video planned. All of our music videos we were not able to shoot because of lockdown restrictions. So it's kind of been really poor timing for us, and that's what we were trying to avoid in the first place. When we first launched this project, Start Your Own Cult, I was like, I do not want to release this in a lockdown. I do not want to release this with full restrictions. Yeah. Because I want to come out big. I want to come out strong. And just to have probably one of our best songs and one of our most meaningful, at least to myself, songs, not get the celebration that it kind of deserved.
Yeah.
Really kind of shot us in the foot. And now it's just like, okay, we've got this next song that is so good as well. And do we release it when we wanted to release it? Because we had music video plans with a guy coming from Melbourne to come shoot it. We had tour plans that we will not be able to do with these restrictions, with these lockdowns. And then we had a show in Sydney that we won't be able to do. And it's like, do we release that song when we wanted to release that song? Or do we release something else and then release that song later on? So it's just like a constant battle.
Yeah.
Because we obviously want them to succeed. It's like right time, right place. And it's like, as much as we love the song, we want to put it out as soon as we can. It's just like, when is the right time? And how can we do this the best of its ability? And it's not. I've seen so many bands crumble because they've released albums and singles and lockdowns, and they're like, I'm not getting anything from this. To put it into context, like my other band that I play in, we basically started at the beginning of this whole coronavirus thing, and we started out with a bang, and we got tour bookings, festival bookings, all this stuff, cancellation, and we've had 2 #1 radio singles in country music, and we have had so many cancellations that we're like, we want to keep pushing through for it.
Yeah.
But it's so hard because, you know, I have a country, like a #1 country radio single, but what does it feel like to me is nothing, because like, you don't get to play on those stages and see those people singing those songs to you.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to numbers. It's really fucking sad. And people are like, oh, congratulations on your song. How do you feel? I'm like, the same. Like,
Yeah.
I already knew what it sounded like. So I don't know. It's sorry. That's just like a little bitter, but
No, I think you have certainly have a right to be bitter about it, because it feels like, is Canada even in lockdown anymore?
No, they're not. They're opening back up. But it's here and there. Like they've been more. They had some really hard lockdowns. But yeah, they're much more open now, but still like things are a little weird.
Yeah.
Just on the same topic, I've got a question. Might ask these questions with the other people as well. Do you think it's better to have a good venue or a good lineup at your shows?
Oh, that's a really fun question. So I'm going to say categorically the venue. We have some horror stories about playing bad venues. Some absolute. Now I'm not going to name and shame. I'm not going to do that. But we have played at some venues where we have been cut off mid-second song. So it doesn't matter how good your lineup is. If that venue is not equipped to play with the sort of equipment and just the physical space, people don't realize the physical space. If your space is too small, the noise just reverberates off, and you can't hear shit. Yeah. So I'd say definitely the venue. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, you don't want to be playing with shitty bands.
It's the worst thing to hear. Hey, you guys are really great, but we couldn't hear any of the vocals. So it's like, what is the point of going to see a band play when it's just like, dun, 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 like, bah, bah. It's just like, yeah, I get it. And I used to run. So we've gotten the in-ear monitors since we started Start Your Own Cult, because we run like some backing tracks and whatnot. But so I can hear myself in my ears. But I have no idea what the front of house mix sounds like. And a lot of our shows, I will actually go out into the crowd and I'll take my earpiece off so I can hear what's coming out. At that point, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But I used to just wreck my voice. I'd play one show with the boys, wreck my voice, because I've learned to sing my notes via how my throat feels from playing in shitty venues. Because I could never hear myself. So I'm just like, this is the note. This is the note here. And that's the note there. Like, it's so bad. It was so fucking awful. But
it's rough, man.
It is what it is. It's a lot better now.
There are some rough venues in Sydney. I remember I booked a show one day at this place, which I can't say, but anyway, we get there and I thought they had like a little main stage downstairs, and they also have one upstairs, but I didn't even know the upstairs one existed till we got there. And they said, "Oh, you're playing upstairs," and there was only a little narrow corridor, so you have to bring all the gear upstairs, like carry drum kits, amps, and whatever. And we get upstairs and they say like, "Oh, you play here," and we're like, there's no stage here. And they're like, yeah, like we thought you guys had a PA in. And it was that dodgy, and we never, but at least people came up and it was a great show, but it was so rough. I was like, how the hell did this happen?
They expect you to bring your own stage, like just bring up some milk crates.
Yeah, they like I don't know who organized this, but we had those 3 others that night, and
we in this time have been very particular. In Dirty Spells, you know what, we played every venue that we got a show at. We play sometimes three gigs in a weekend. We just exhausted ourselves to the point at every single venue, every single shit room, everything like that could not handle our sound. We're loud. We know we're loud.
Yeah.
And like some sound engineers will be like, you know what, fuck these guys because they're too loud. And it's just like, yeah, I get that, but we're a stadium band. And so we it's been really hard because some of the boys really want to play. They want to get that stage performance and they want to get that experience in front of people. And I'm like, please understand that there are ways to do this properly and there are ways to make this crumble really fast. Yeah. If you go out there and you play a show and you sound like shit in a shit venue, people are not going to come back.
Yeah.
But if you go and you play a sick venue with a great sound system and we sound fucking awesome, because we know we're tight as a band. We practice weekly.
Yeah.
We know our songs in, out, backwards, upside, whatever. But the sound system, it changes everything.
Yeah.
So you have to understand to know your rooms and what you can play and what you can't play. Like we've gotten a lot of offers from bands. Hey guys, we have a gig at this place, and we're like, hey, thank you so much. Unfortunately, like we just don't. We will not suit that room.
Yeah.
From experience. Yeah.
And on that same track, I think one thing that we've really taken on board as a band that I think is really helpful for any band to know is to pick your battles. Like you can't, the environment of Sydney is no longer such that you can go and tour every week and just play around. Look, maybe if you go around to country towns and stuff, we haven't been privileged to do that so far. I think that's something I'd like to look into in the future. But it's in Sydney itself, you can't be playing a show every week, because if you're at the band at a level like us, you are not able to rally enough fans that often to do it. So what we've done instead is we've really picked our battles and go, okay, we only want to play one show this month. Like, what's it going to be? Where's it going to be? How good's the venue going to be? How can we pack it out? Is it viable for people to get to? Is there good public transport? So we think about all these things and just go like, look, how likely is it that this is going to succeed as an event? And that's how I like to think of it, as an event rather than a show. So we'll just really pick our battles and make sure that we're maximizing the experience for the audience. So it just rocks like every time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, especially if you're trying to get your friends to come to shows. If you play a show on the Friday, oh, don't worry, we've got a show on the Saturday. We got a show next week. People are going to be like, oh, you know what? I'll skip this one because there's one next week. But if you have one show a month that is banging and sold out and people see photos and they're like, man, that looks sick, I want to be there. And it's just like, well, we like the next one, these are tickets, they will sell out. Get yours now. And
they will, and they do, which is great. You know, it's.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Sarah, because I've seen bands who play once every 6 months and everyone just turns up to them.
Yep.
And then you got exactly like bands will play like once a week or something. It's like, it's all right, we'll skip this week, see you next week. And it just lowers the numbers every week. But it's better to have just spread it out and just have that keenness. Like people want to be keen to see a band once every like few months.
And what do you want to do? Do you want to play to a room of 100 people, or do you want to play to a room of 10 people? It really takes away playing to a room of 10 people, as much as it's the like special intimate experience. It's not fun. It really isn't fun. And you're just like, you're sitting there giving it your all and you're like, Jesus fuck. Like,
I think every band has to go through that experience of playing in front of 10 people.
That's true. That's very true.
Just the experience.
We've been there. We have definitely been there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was.
I don't want to do it again.
The first 2 years of Dirty Spells, we just went through it and we just played all those gigs, and we played, you know, whatever it is, open mics, wherever around the inner west and everything. We just played everything we could, and sometimes there were 2 people there, 1 person there. So we've definitely been there, but there does come a time when you have to just pick your battles, decide what it is that you want to do and where you want to put your energy.
Yeah, we had Danny Sands on a year ago on the couch, and he brought up a good topic that it's better to play in a small place than stadiums, because overseas he plays in stadiums. He said it's better to see people enjoying themselves in smaller, like instead of like it's better to see people 100 people than 1,000 people, because he just wants to see it's easier to see people's emotions than you can't see no one at stadiums. And it's great doing stadiums, you know, sold out that. But he said you get more intimacy in front of like 100 people. You can see people's emotions, see people dancing as well.
There's more
so there's
with the crowd, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I've never played a stadium myself. I'm you know, God willing, but no, if you do,
I'd say no to ANZ Stadium.
if you've got a big crowd, like an intimate crowd in like a decent sized venue, and you're playing them, you've got there's a connection.
As far as problems go, I feel like that's a really good problem to have.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many people at my show, I can't see anyone's emotions. This is horrible.
I just want to go back to playing 500-person rooms.
The income, it hurts.
You get the options as well. I could play small and bag. It doesn't matter where I go now. Just the option is just a killer.
Yeah, man. Isn't it weird? Like, but like when like bands are starting, there's kind of that mentality, like, fuck, I wish we could do this. And then like you watch documentaries on big bands, and they're like, oh, we just wanted to go back to the. It's like, when are you happy? Like, like, is it the middle that's like the best part?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've watched it. Like, for me, the goal, like the bucket list thing, where I'm like, okay, cool, that's what I want to do, is like being able to play, like, I don't know, something like Main Stage Big Day Out would be awesome. I mean, I know they don't do that anymore, but like where you got, there'd be thousands of people there, and there's huge people, but it's this, but there's, there's still like I guess there's a barrier, so that's a bit reserved, but like,
yeah,
playing something outdoor, like I've just got a dream of playing a big festival like Rock on Seine or something, or something on the beach, playing something really, that would be, imagine that, you're just in there, it's like midday or like 5 o'clock or whatever, sun's about to go down, you're just on the river and you're just like rocking out, just like, I just think that'd be the coolest fucking shit ever.
Yeah, the AC/DC tribute band does a cruise every so often. So I think November, if it happens, they've got a cruise for a whole week. You pay this much, free food, free alcohol, and you just on this tribute band with AC/DC for the whole week on a cruise ship. They do that like once a year, I think, and they also do like harbor shows as well.
Yo, but
so
how good is the unlimited frozen yogurt on cruise ships?
That's what it's about. That's where the money is.
So I did this too. I went on a cruise a couple years, and like, like girls wear bikinis. I shaved my legs the day that we got on the cruise because I'm like, I'm gonna go to the pool. Little did I know that all their pools were saltwater pools. Get in, it's like, the burn. But the ice cream solved everything. And then also just like the buffets are so good. You get so fat on a cruise. It's like, do not expect.
Well, you are on holiday.
The only holiday that I've ever lost weight on was Byron Bay.
Oh, yes.
Because like, I am one of those people that when I start drinking, I just don't want to eat. Like, if I have to eat before.
Oh, you're the same as me. You're exactly like me as well.
But once I start drinking, it's like there's nothing in my mind that's like, yeah, I want to get some food. Like, unless people are like, let's get kebabs. And I'm like, okay, I'll eat a messy kebab. But I went for like 3 days, didn't even eat because I'm like, morning drinks, night drinks, day drinks. And I came back and I was like, I'm so skinny. It's okay.
My sister, when she went to Cambodia, she came back and she was like, she was just drinking all the time. I'm like, how did you survive? My liver would explode. Like, I'm not really a big drinker, but yeah, you get skinny.
You get skinny.
Do you find like guys, like you lose weight like on holidays just because you don't know where you are, and I suppose like kind of walking and like you're more excited to go see things, so you
actually I remember going to Europe, and remember when I came back I was like fat. It would have been like the only time maybe I'm a little bit bigger now because I've been lifting, bro. I've been doing that lockdown lift.
No, but you were quite fat
from Europe, where I met my girlfriend, and I was like chubby. I was like a little chipmunk, and they were like poking my belly. Yeah. No, but like, because just eating a bunch of croissants and shit.
So with me, I'm really weird. If I'm with somebody, and they're like my partner, he likes to have breakfast, he likes to have lunch, he likes to have snacks, he likes to have dinner. So I feel kind of obligated to have all those things. But normally in a day, if I wasn't by myself, I normally don't really eat breakfast.
Yeah,
I'll have lunch around like 2 o'clock, and then I'll eat dinner. Or like if I have breakfast and I have like a late lunch, I won't eat dinner kind of thing. I normally have about 2 meals a day, or I'll have like breakfast, lunch, dinner, but they're all small meals. So I don't eat like a whole lot. And I train. I train a fuck ton. So when I go on holiday, especially when I go back to Canada, it's like you're constantly with people. They're like, let's get breakfast, let's get lunch, let's get dinner, let's get drinks. You're drinking every day for a month. And then you're like, how did I gain 20 pounds? What the fuck? and you're like, I gotta play a show in 2 weeks. I'm only eating salads. It's not. No.
A bit of salads though. Salad dressing, bro.
Yeah, but balsamic vinegar.
Off balsamic vinegar and vinegar.
Balsamic vinegar. So me and Alex, we like tested our sound on Zoom before, and we were planning on doing the whole interview with. I was gonna wear these.
Ah, nice.
And then we were gonna speak in British accents.
We were just gonna talk in British accents and just talk about how many drugs we did. Drugs.
Been in a K-hole since the beginning of this lockdown, and you know what I say? Fuck you, Gladys. And it's just like every question you ask, be like, next question.
This drug related. Next question.
We'll leave that part in as well then.
Okay.
Oh, like I wish we could I wish you did that, and then we could have like shown that for like 20 seconds and then went to the real one.
We could still do that. We could still
shall
do
we
that.
shall we do a few more? Just ask a few questions. I'll be like, next question.
Good luck.
Should I put on a fur coat?
Yeah, put on the fur coat. She'll only be able to do it for like a minute because it's so hot.
So hot.
I've got a window.
Just do a 15-second thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right, guys. A question for you. Who do you reckon is the best band in Sydney at the moment?
Next question. Did our first show with Fangs. They had kind of they had this show with Danko Jones, who's actually Canadian, and then for some reason I think that tour got rescheduled and whatnot. So they still wanted to play on that same date, and they were reaching out to a bunch of bands that had reached out to them. And this is when we were in Dirty Spells. So they reached out to us and we're like, yeah, sick, Fangs are sick. So we played this show with them, start chatting with Josh, obviously realized his Canadian accent. So I was like, oh, did you play in any bands in Toronto? Because that's where he's from, that's where I'm from. And he's saying that he was in a band called Party Cat. And I was like, sir, I will stop you right there. I pulled out my phone and I showed him my my personal hotspot password, which is very much Party Cat.
Yeah.
And has been for like the last 9 years or something like that. And I was just like, I know your band, I know your bassist very well, and I have seen you guys tons. So it was just like an instant connection there, and we've grown to really get to know the guys, and they're so fun.
Such legends.
They're really inspiring to me in the party sense. Like when I grow up, I want to be able to party as hard as Fangs.
She wants to be the party cat.
Yeah. If I'm not
party
already.
kitten, but she's working her way up to party cat.
So it's actually really funny. So Southbound, we had reached out when we did our single with Shannon Knoll. We had reached out for a kind of endorsement with Fireball, and so did Shannon Knoll because we're under the same management. So they endorsed Shannon Knoll, and we were at a practice, and our management was like, so unfortunately Southbound didn't get the endorsement because we're too tame.
What?
And I almost broke my bass. My manager will tell you, like, he has never seen me so upset and frazzled. I'm like, do they not know who I am? Yeah, like if anyone's seen me like drunk or just like I am.
The term is munting.
Yeah, I am a liability. So our last video clip, it's This Is Us. We filmed it at Surly's in Surrey Hills, and there's like a thing of me. I'm like drinking from a bottle on the bar, serving shots and shit. I'm like, take that Fireball. Sorry, Fireball, if you ever see this, if you still want to sponsor us, you definitely still can. But I do I have this anger inside my soul. I'm just like, they didn't even try to get to know me. So yeah.
Well, what you said there is exactly what Shannon Null did like 6 months probably before he probably got the sponsor. Do you remember like when he went to the strip club and they were like, nah, you can't come in, you're fucked. And he's like, do you know who I am? He got like thrown down to the ground by the bouncers. Yeah.
So, I actually do know Shannon Knoll very well. We did like a tour with him, and obviously like we wrote that song together and whatnot. He's so lovely, and he is so talented. He has a beautiful family. But yeah, we're like, some of the stories and stuff, I'm just like, man, you're crazy. Like, but I would do that shit.
Add more.
Yeah. It's just like, you did it like this, so now I'm going to do it bigger.
Just make sure you have the camera on so Fireball can see it.
Yeah. Like if I had a camera following me around on my day-to-day life, I'm fucking hilarious. All the times of me crying in the shower, being like, why am I a creative? Like TV gold.
Oh, yeah. It's fun being a creative.
No. They're like, what goes?
I'm the worst.
How many times are people like, I just would love to spend an hour inside your head? I'm like, no, you know.
So who's the maker of most of your TikToks? Is it you, Sarah?
Me, yes, definitely. Like the Start Your Own Call TikToks are my TikToks.
Okay.
So my TikToks,
Let me
me.
check. Let me have a look, actually, because Evan's been chucking up a couple of mine. So let me have a looky.
I'm looking at TikToks now as well.
She's just got some hilarious TikToks though.
Oh yeah, you might like our band ones are pretty good.
Oh,
Alex has a ton of TikToks on ours. I would say they're like a good divide. The last couple ones. Yeah, you've definitely started coming in on here.
Yeah, I've been coming in strong. Wait, where is it? We're into and we're just still on our phones. We're just like, like let's look at the TikToks. Hang on. Oh no, so yeah, I gotta cut. Yeah. It's a pretty even mix, I think. It's a pretty even mix.
Next thing you know, we're just like scrolling through TikTok. You're like, oh, look at the bunny!
Yeah, hang on, guys. I'll be back. I just need to look at this phone.
Do you find TikTok like one of those apps that you kind of just sink into? Like it's like the sunken world. You know that movie? Like I feel like I open TikTok and then half an hour later, Or
yeah.
I don't know, Sarah. Do you have the thing where, like, I won't use TikTok unless I'm making TikToks. If I'm making TikToks, I'll watch it all the time and just be like, bah, 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 bah. But as soon as I stop the like, oh, I'm doing TikToks, I'll just totally forget about it.
So I obviously view a lot of TikToks. I send a lot of TikToks to my friends. Oh my God, so us. Like, so me. I do definitely, like, my partner will want to go to bed sometimes like 9 or 10. And I'm like, he's like, come to bed. I'm like, I don't want to go to bed yet. I want to watch TikToks. Next thing you know, because if there's nobody to put me to bed, I'm such a child. It's like 9 o'clock. I'm not going to bed. And then it's like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm just like, I'm so tired. 5 more TikToks.
Okay, I'll keep scrolling until I find a good one.
Yes, and you have to 5 good ones. And there's so much shit.
Pretty good.
Yeah, like this week I've told myself you're not using TikTok because like last week it was just like the SpongeBob narration just would come up and it'd be like 2 hours later.
Yeah,
so fun, though.
I've definitely been there.
It's really fun to like, because once you get into the role of like just the hang of like just making them and just being like, oh, what's like, you start almost seeing the world in terms of TikToks. Like you'll see something happen, you're like, that's a TikTok.
Yes. Yes.
You're so right.
Something funny will happen, you're like, that's a TikTok. Just hang on.
So the other day, me and my one mate, we were on a walk around and we were kind of almost hitting that 5K line where I knew that we'd have to kind of turn around. And once we got to that line, I filmed this TikTok where it was like what it feels like when you hit that 5K limit. And it's like, and there was like this shadow on the ground, pretty much exactly where the 5K line was. And it was like, a criminal mind. And I've been waiting for 20 minutes, like on the maps, finding out exactly where this spot was, where I had to hit my 5K limit to film this. I was like, Tim, can you film this video for me? And then of course I had to put on like, I didn't actually cross the line, Karen's hold back. Like,
I'm just gonna do one leg. Oh no.
This is like the fires of hell. Like, it's like when I walk into a church, like, all your skin melting off. The power of Christ. It's like acid.
How do you actually find out like is the radius of your like suburb, or is it the radius from like actual 5K, like just a circle around your house?
like your actual address. So like if I walk a block down the street, or like if people walk a block down the street from my house, they can't actually go to Coogee Beach. But because I'm a block over, I can go to Coogee Beach.
There'll be some Karen that is like you and able to go to Coogee Beach, and she's probably yelling at all the others. You're not allowed here.
Yeah.
This is out my beach.
Stay back!
Taking ownership of the beach.
But yeah, no, it's funny. It's pretty crazy how some people have reacted to this. But you know what? I don't think anybody's a bad person. I think the way that people have reacted to this whole situation has just been a reflection of a lack of control that they have over the situation.
Yeah.
And it's bad because I see people online, and I've been so crucial as to staying off
away.
anything that involves COVID, anything that involves lockdown. I will not touch it on my social media.
Yep.
It's not my place.
Yep.
I understand why people want to do it. But like you see some people and the way they turn around on other people who like, are your friends this whole like, if you do this, or if you're not going to do this, or if you went to delete me. And it's like, I know you don't mean that.
I've been waiting to say something on this because I feel like it's so funny. Like I was having it, like I was on a walk today and I was having this thought, like so many people that I know, like that shouldn't be giving like any kind of health advice just personally. Like they're not into looking after their diet. They're not after looking after like their every aspect of it. Right. And I feel like because of this, like, this situation, I feel like they've got a little permit card to like go bully other people and be like, yeah, think about your health.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a form of bullying, no matter which end of the spectrum you're on.
Yeah.
Like if you're so far on this spectrum that you're like, fuck these people, and you're so far in on this like spectrum, like I feel like a lot of people on this spectrum doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They are so just shutting out everybody else that it's like, if you don't do this and believe everything in this sense, then you're dead to me. And
it's like that's the right thing. It's almost, it's political. It's become politicized. It's like, oh, well, I don't even want to get into it because it's so divisive. It's just like, you're a bad person because you did this thing. Like maybe over that line, you're going to get COVID and die.
Maybe we cut out that whole part of the interview and we just have that part where Alex is like, you're a bad person.
Let me see if I can get my face redder.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Like, I just been trying to stick my nose out of it and keep very clear from it. I mean, there's too many people giving their opinions in, and I feel like
armchair philosophers on this stuff. Armchair doctors.
Yeah, pretty much. I just think it's funny how like some people like will how people just through like mutual people or whatever, and you just see which ones are so fast to give their little point of view, and it's interesting.
Well, it's just like, do I have an opinion? Absolutely, I have an opinion. Am I going to share it with you? Absolutely fucking not, because I know you're not going to listen, and if I tell you something, you're just going to be like, I don't actually think that's right. So you're wrong and you're going to hell.
Yeah. And then I wonder like what the people on the Facebook lobbies get when they like do their big 3-hour arguments, and they're like at the end of it, it's like, did you win or did you lose? Like, do you feel like you've done something?
Depression, anxiety, drinking problems,
self-loathing. It's a grab bag. Actually, it's funny. I was reading that book. What is it? It's something with the word "fuck" in the title by Mark Manson. It was a really big book about, and like he was like, before, like, because he had this big blog. He's a blogger. He's a big blogger guy, and like eventually he was like, well, I actually got my start on forums just yelling at people. So I'm like, okay, so that is a career path. Like going on Facebook and just typing angry comments to people is actually a career path. It's either that or professional gaming. You can do it.
I was thinking of starting up a Twitch account recently. My partner's been playing GTA, which has been very triggering to my emotions because I don't know if the sirens are coming from the game or from actually outside.
I see.
There's so many sirens going on. So I gave it a try, and like I'll walk in, he's playing it, and I'm like, "Are you killing all the civilians?
Are you kidding?"
I'm really bad. I'm so bad. But maybe one day I'll be so bad that it's so good.
Just on the topic of lockdown, do you guys find it easier to like write music now because you got the time, but it's harder to like share with everyone?
No.
You know what? Yeah, I the way that music works for me, and I don't know if this is true of Sarah, but the way that music or any creative form works for me is my brain's like, you get one, buddy. You can do one thing, and if you try and do anything else, I'm not gonna let you. So I've been doing a lot of writing now, like writing, words. And basically the creative part of my brain is just seized up. It's just not making music, right? Like it's shut down for business. So I would have to stop and redirect that and go back into that. But there has been a lot more time. So if I sort of sat down and focused and went, no, I'm just writing songs. And like this week or these 2 weeks, I'm just going to write songs. I could do it. But there's a lot to be said for just sitting down and doing it. People like to wait for the inspiration and be like, oh, I don't really feel like doing songs today. It's like, and yeah, fair enough. That's a legitimate excuse. But you sort of have to self-motivate if you are in the mind frame to do it and kind of lean into it and start doing it. But it's lockdown, so like, don't push yourself.
So at the beginning of this lockdown, I did for the initial lockdown period, I said I would write a song a day. And I wrote a song a day. I released a song a day. I had a lot of help from Ryan Siu from Polaris doing some of my production stuff. He's incredible. And once that kind of first initial 10 days of lockdown ended, I was kind of just like, okay, I've a bit exhausted myself because I'm not actually able to get out to the world and experience things and have things impact me. So like here and there, I'll have a few things kind of like inspire me. Like one of my songs was inspired from that Netflix show, Sex Life. And I just kind of put my brain into like what it would be like to be in her head, imaging this guy that she was like obsessed with. Anyway, so just like from that, I've had inspiration from a guy's TikTok who like we're now TikTok friends. But it was like this Teams call ringtone. It was like do 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 do. So then I wrote this song over it that was like, I've been missing phone calls, Zoom chats, FaceTimes, and all that. Meanwhile, I've been wasting my time. So little things like that like inspire me, but it's very, since I vibe so heavily off of other people and other ideas, because I've written so much in my life that I am a meat and potatoes kind of guitarist. Like I can do what I can do as far as instrumentally, but to sit down and write with someone who's more vast in like certain instruments and has like different chord progressions and different things, I can write to that, no problem. Lyrics and whatnot. I can sit down and write lyrics for days, but I find myself limited to what I can do.
Yeah.
Which is why I love being in bands. Is like, yeah, I could put out song after song and they might all sound the same. And I might even get bored of it myself, which I do.
Yeah.
But working with other musicians is really important for me, especially in a writing sense. Because you just get something so much further than what you would originally do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we got all the time in the world and like little inclination. Like that's
It's sort of like option paralysis. No, paradox of choice is what I'm thinking. It's like there's literally so much time that you almost get paralyzed by the lack of by the lack of constriction. It's like you know how they say you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Yeah.
Like my roommate's just started doing. He's gone into real estate, and he's literally on the phone grinding like 100 people a day. And he's still getting more stuff done of a day than me on top of that. He's doing more things because he's just so on that grind. And I'm just sitting there going like, well, I'll go for a surf and I'll call some of the guitar students and maybe I'll do a little chord progression or write
I pretty much like I wake up in the morning, I'll have to meditate right away because if I don't meditate right away, I'm not going to fucking do it. And then I have a tea and then I go and do my workout. And then after that, it's just like, what do I do with my day? I make TikToks, maybe like if I want to, like maybe I'll write, I don't know, like it's all over the place.
What is meditation to you? Like I'm interested in meditation, but I hate like whenever I've tried to do it in my life and I sit down and I put on one of the things where the person talks and I just don't like the sound of their voice and it drives me insane. I shut up, and
You have to find someone's voice that you like, first of all. I find that I listen to a lot of them and they have like a really whiny, like, no, listen to my voice. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, no. And like, I'll have to turn it off. I do prefer like a low male vocal.
Yeah.
For my meditation, that's soothing, like almost like a David Attenborough vocal. But for me, it's about having like 10 minutes. And I like yoga. And before the first lockdown, I was doing yoga every day for like a month straight. I was like forcing myself to get into this. And my favorite part of the yoga class was the Shavasana at the end, where you just lay down for like 5 minutes. It's like a little nap. And then at the end, you're like, okay, now start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, and you realize how much your body relaxes. And that's kind of also with meditation. So it's just like, I like to meditate laying down, completely like straight out, like arms not touching, legs not touching. And just the breathing exercise. There's some really good ones where like the music flows perfectly for your like in and out breath, and just it gives you that second to slow down in your day and just really take the time to just have those 10 minutes to yourself. Yeah. And I mean, Alex, you were on me you should try meditating. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna meditate. And now I'm just like, I have to meditate every day or I'm gonna die.
I thought about it recently, and it's sort of like it's sort of like scrubbing your brain of its thoughts in a way. So instead of just having, instead of eating off like a dirty plate, like thinking around and just having, I gotta do this, I gotta go to the gym, didn't do that thing, I gotta call my mom, all that stuff, it kind of gets wiped away. So you're like, oh, I actually have space just to like notice what's going on, and that just comes, I think, from just noticing the actual thoughts that you're doing. So yeah, that's how I think of it.
Nice, man. I want to give it a go, but every time, like that's been the only problem, is getting irritated by the person's voice. Or then when I do the breathing ones, then my brain is like, how many times can I do the breath before the music like changes? And then just like my brain just turns on in here, and it becomes a nightmare.
It'll come with practice. You just have to constantly do it. That's and find a voice that you like, because if you don't like the voice, you're like, I've been 4 minutes into a meditation. I'm like, nah, fuck this. TikToks.
Yes, that's kind of been my issue. But like, I don't know. And then I'm like, do I have to sit on the ground with my legs crossed like the monk? But I'm happy you said you can just lay down, because
just lay down, close your eyes, and just like, because sometimes it's like sit in an upright position, and I'm just like, no. I always lay down. I'm a lazy fuck. Whatever.
Because every time you sit down and you cross your legs, and then I just feel like I hope someone doesn't walk in right now, because I have no, like, if I say like, it just
I find that painful crossing my legs. I can't do lotus position. I'm like, my hips are just like, sorry, buddy, we don't go that way. Like we don't have that sort of flexion.
I find sometimes when I write, I'll write with my guitar and I'll cross one of my legs and the other one will be over and forward. And then a middle of like this writing, I get like a radio leg where it's got the TV fuzz in your fucking foot and you're just like, dear God, I can't feel so yeah, no, just lay down, spread it out, just take in your space.
Nice. And like, I don't know, like, Alex, have you tried, like, do you stretch?
Yeah, I do quite a bit of yoga, actually. I just literally have, so I have this one video that I downloaded years ago. I watched it once. I was like, this lady's voice is annoying. She like doesn't seem very confident in what she's doing. Yeah. I just watched this whole thing, did it, and it was like, I have never found a better yoga video than that. So just every time I go through this 10-minute thing, I'm like, I've looked for other ones. I just don't like it as much. The flow isn't as good. So I just do the same sun salutation. I just do it every day. But stretch, like I surf a fair bit. So, and just lift weights and things. So if I don't stretch before those, I get like sore or I get like crinkly and stuff. So yeah, stretching and yoga is great. It's like, it's like the foundation stone of, I think, the rest of your exercise, really.
Yeah, man. I've only discovered stretching like recently in the last 6 months, mainly because of like watching Cobra Kai on Netflix. And I was like, I want to fucking kick like that.
Yeah.
And then having like do you know Wicked Things, the band?
I was just about to say, have you watched any of the Wicked Things?
Yeah, I want to be able to fucking do some of the like the kicks and stuff, like that.
Well, you've got the hair for
Jericho.
it. You've got the hair for it.
Yeah, man. And so like that's how I started stretching, just by accident. And then I just kind of been like, well, if I can do that, why can't I do it with my arms and my everything else? And now I just spend an hour a day going, I hate this, but it makes me feel good after.
So that our like Dead Drugs release show was supposed to be a dual release show with Wicked Things for the rocker single.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like our Dead Drug single and the rocker single all in one big banger of a show. And I just let's reschedule for this date. Nope, let's reschedule for this. I think we like rescheduled like 3 times. We're like, you know what? It's not going to happen.
Oh, man.
Thanks, Gladys.
Hey, it's opening up now, right? Like mid-October, things are gonna open up, right? That's what's looking like is going on. So, that's why we, get your jabs. Make sure you're all jabbed up.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Okay, I'll say it.
We actually both just got our jabs today.
Why have jabs when you could have kebabs? But like for real, get
your jabs.
Bring up that number, people. I got a girlfriend overseas who's not allowed to come into the country. So, bring up their number so we can bring the people in. Please.
Alex, it's fine.
I've still got my like Paul, you're fully vaccinated, yeah?
Yeah, I got my last one yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
I still got the second one to go. So, and they say this one's going to be the rough one. Like I got the Pfizer.
You got the Pfizer?
Yeah. So this second one's supposed to be the one that like shakes you up, but we'll see how we go.
Okay, so let's just put it this way. I had the day from hell. So I went all the way out because I could not find any appointment in or around my suburb. Like I could not book online at all. Every time, like I must have tried this about 50 times. And I kept like signing in, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, next appointment this day. And then it's like, we have no appointments available. So I ended up calling a number and she looked around my suburb. There was nothing until November.
Oh.
So she's like, is Macquarie Fields an option? And I live in Zetland. So I was just like, you know what? I can drive. I'll drive there. It's fine. So I went out there at 7:45, did the thing, went back to my car. They were playing. So Southbound's next single that's coming out tomorrow was playing on Kicks Country Radio for the first time. So I was listening to it all stoked up. I was listening to it in my headphones. And then I go to turn on my car. And then it's making like a noise. And I'm just like, I am 45 minutes away from my house driving. And my car battery is dead. And I couldn't just jump it. I waited like 2 hours for a guy to come out. He was lovely. He was so good. 2 hours for this guy to come out to change my battery. So yeah, it was a very expensive experience.
That fully sounds like a porno, doesn't it? So I'm here to change your battery.
Well, it's about goddamn time.
You look at Pornhub, that's there. Just saying.
Are you with NRMA? How come you had to wait so long?
So here's the thing. We are with MRA and that one. We're with that one. You're man. And so my partner calls them and they're like, oh, you're not a member. So what they did, which we are, but there's 2 profiles apparently, because what they did Ford, when they put in the insurance, they put in an I instead of a 1.
What?
So it was like the one that we were looking up, it was like an expired thing, because on the new one, on the license plate registration, they had put an I instead of a 1.
Oh.
Or like, yeah, the opposite way around. Anyways, so then we had to like go through this group to find this one guy that fixes all of these cars in this group, and then like send him off to this guy because he does all the batteries for. It was a fucking nightmare. Anyways, so I got home and I was like, dear God, take me. So tragic. Anyways, 10 out of 10, wouldn't recommend it. terrible experience.
Well, at least you have a story from getting the vaccination.
Yeah, and I've already had one mentee B today, so that's exciting for me.
Nah.
Yeah.
When did people start saying mentee B?
It's been a thing.
It's a thing. Like, because the first thing I thought of when you said that was like a Mentos. I was like, you want a Mentos today?
Nah.
Mentos.
We talking mental breakdown, baby. Woo! This is a classic mentee B.
Just a mentee B.
Calling my mom, just like, I can't start the car. Fucking tragic. Okay, next question.
I did not do drugs on that tour. I did not even know what they are. Next
just on a wrap up, because it's probably going on for a bit long. Do you guys have like any final thoughts or words to like younger bands who are starting?
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Yeah. Alex, maybe you give some advice while I think of mine.
Yeah, all right. I would say, oh man, honestly, it's the biggest cliche, but like just don't quit. Like I was like 27 before I got into this band. Like, but you'll feel it when it's working. When you get to a point where you're like, oh no, this is the thing, you'll feel it. It's like I don't know, it's just a feeling. You're like, no, this is going. I can feel this going. So right from the beginning, I was like, actually, especially when Shu turned up, our guitarist who I was telling you about, when he came into it, I was like, oh, this is special now. We like this is a thing now. So I'd say don't worry so much about how old you are or whatever, or like, you know, don't think you have to make it by the time you're fucking 21 or 23, or it doesn't matter. Like you got your whole life, bro. The Rolling Stones are still touring. It's fine. Forget it. Yeah, I'd say just,
that, man. You're 27. I thought you were like we were like same age. I thought I'm 22. I thought we were same age.
Oh, bro, he's way older.
I'm 31, dude. Look at his face. You just made my day. That's great. Thank you.
Like, what is your background?
Me? I don't even know, like Dutch Irish or something. I don't, honestly, I just don't age. It's really weird. I've played this for like 10 years.
Okay, now here's the game. What's my age?
Now I don't want to even guess anymore. I'm fucking out. I'm checked out. Like, you look young as well. I thought we're all about the same age here. I thought we're all like 22. But then, and you went to like tape. So I don't know, Sarah. I would have said the same age. Like, we're all about maybe, you know, now I feel like it's older, so I have to guess up. So like, I want to say like 25.
Look, I'm in the Legends Club, man. I'm up with the Winehouse and the Kurt Cobain, so I need to make something happen this year.
Oh yeah, that. Oh wow.
That's pretty sad.
No, I'm just surprised because like
on your face.
The way I climb amplifiers and bars, I do look like I run around like a 22-year-old. But I have quite well shaped to maintain this 22-year-old physique for 5 years.
It's the yoga, baby. It's the yoga.
It's the yoga lattes. Okay, my piece of advice, and I've definitely said this before in a couple of interviews, but I definitely stay true to it because it is something that has haunted me throughout the years and still does affect me as much as I want it not to. But do not let what other people's opinions, like, don't let other people's opinions affect you as an artist. Because not everyone is going to like what you do, and you can't expect to hand something to every single person in the room and then be like, I love this. Take the people that love this and run with them. The other people that don't care about it, fuck them off. You know what? You're never going to please them. There's no point in trying. Be true to yourself. Be true to what you do. And grow as your own person, not trying to please those people that didn't care about you in the first place, because you don't need them. Maybe one day they'll realize, like, it's that skater boy complex where, you know, years down the road, people are like, wow, you're so sick. Like, I didn't realize. And I'm like, yeah, I only invited you to like 72 local shows that you would have paid $10 to go to, you know? But yeah, just stay true, stay hustling, and believe in yourself, and take those people who believe in you dear to your heart, and grow together rather than trying to please those who don't want to support you.
Can I add one? Can I add one thing on that? What about advice too? Like I've noticed, like this, me personally, I noticed I've been like sometimes you have to look at the person that's giving you advice. Like, yeah, like that's same thing. Like when like I feel like everyone has an opinion, and opinions are a bit like assholes. Like,
Yeah.
but I think my like naive self recently just realized that sometimes when adults give advice, it's not always right.
No, and it's just like we said before, everyone's gonna have a fucking opinion.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Like
mean
or most of
it's
them.
right, like there's so many opinions floating around in this world. It only depends on what you believe, because you're not going to please all these people. You're not going to please all these people. You got to stick true to what's in your heart, take accountability for what you put out, and go with that, because you're never going to be on the right side of everyone.
I mean, I like to think of it like, okay, AC/DC. AC/DC have been around since I think 73. I could be wrong about that. It might be a little bit earlier than that, but they have been doing literally the same kind of music for what's that, 40 years now? Where's my math on it? Let's say 50 years. Let's call that 50 years. It's just been doing the same thing. And it's good. It's a good thing. And they just do it over and over and over because that's them. And they're like, I think last time I checked, they're like the 3rd biggest band in the world. Like, because they just do them. They don't try and, like, they're not doing a trap album, man. They're just doing them. And they're killing it. You know what I mean? Just do you. It's fine. It's enough. You're enough. Namaste.
Namaste.